movie King Kong was made in 1933. When it was released, it was a huge success, not just in New York, across the United States, but around the world. Movie audience had never seen anything so spectacular. A 25-foot ape climbing up to the top of the highest building in the world. Well, of course, the reality was quite different. King Kong was just a little puppet about so tall, and none of the movie was actually shot here in New York City. One thing to remember about that movie in 1933 is that the Empire State Building had only been built 2 years earlier, 1931. The country then, and in 1933, and for quite a few years afterwards, was still in the midst of a Great Depression. People were without work, people were hungry, and the building of the Empire State Building was a sign of hope, not just for people in the 5 boroughs, but across the country and around the world. It's now more than 80 years later, and recently I have felt as though I am missing some hope and optimism. And it seems to me a lot of others around the world are feeling that same way right now. Over a couple of days, I went around Midtown Manhattan and asked at random a bunch of people if they were feeling optimistic. And if so, what do I have to do to get back that positive feeling about life? I picked the time between Christmas and New Year's, a kind of sweet spot, figuring that most people would be pretty positive. Over in Times Square, I found a novel and temporary solution. A shred-it truck was parked there tearing up and trying to discard people's problems and their past mistakes.
Last year I did this, and when I got home I realized I was holding on to way more other stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till this year to get rid of all of this. Perfect.
I like your style. You came prepared. We're getting rid of bad decisions and clutter.
Are you optimistic?
Not really. I've been extremely pessimistic, but what I just did now hopefully will make me more optimistic. I went to the Good Riddance Day at Times Square, walked many blocks out of my way to get here, and a cold day, and they gave me a pair of gloves, which I needed desperately today, and I had to sign a release, and then I shredded an old relationship.
You think it works?
I don't know yet.
It seems like a great idea, tearing up your problems. But I couldn't help thinking that it's only a temporary solution. I want to be optimistic every day.
I'm walking here!
One thing I discovered while filming in Manhattan is despite what you might think, most people I met here are polite. Most people are kind. And though not everybody wanted to talk about optimism, a surprising number did. What's going on with optimism? Do you feel optimistic? Do you have enough of it? What do you think? That's my question.
You picked the right girl for that.
I'm usually optimistic, so I'm going to say, yeah, I feel optimistic. I'm hoping for good things in 2017.
Absolutely.
Okay. And how about you?
Normally I'm not optimistic, but you know what? It's a new year. I'm going to embrace change, and I'm going to hope for the best.
What do you think about optimism? Do you have enough of it?
I think it depends on the person. I think it's, and where you're from, obviously.
Where are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania. We're all from Pennsylvania.
You're all from Pennsylvania. So how about you? Do you have optimism?
I think I do. I usually have a smile on my face every day, but I think a lot of people are negative these days, and I think it's a big issue going across America, just being negative all day, every day, and there's no reason to be negative.
Is there any cure for how to be optimistic?
Just smiling at somebody, saying hello, maybe tipping, maybe paying for somebody's coffee behind you, Just little things. It's all about the little things.
Moving on, optimism. How you got it? Lots of it.
I have it. It's a part of my life every day. It has to be.
You haven't felt yourself losing any optimism?
Oh, of course. It's human nature to lose it.
How do you get it back?
You try to make yourself feel better. Try to do something better for the world.
Hey, the most fabulous sight is New York in the light of the day. our only day. New York, a wonderful town. The Bronx is up and the Battery's down. The people ride in a hole in the ground. New York, it's a wonderful town.
Santa, are you optimistic?
I'm optimistic about 2017. It's going to be the greatest year ever.
Optimism is very important because your outlook on how you see things affects how you do things. And it's very important to look on the goodness in people as opposed to the negative, to look on the good side, because it's a choice that we have. We don't have to think things are terrible. It's important to choose to be optimistic.
But what happens if everybody around you is not feeling optimistic and you do feel optimistic? Is that still okay, or you need to be more optimistic to make it even better?
Well, sometimes you do need to be more optimistic because some other people can affect you. There's no doubt about that. However, you have to just continue feeling that things are good. That there are things that are bad in the world that happen. But what you have control over is what you do, what you say, how you approach people, how you deal with people, and that's what's most important. Because if everybody changes him or herself to be better, it'll be a great world.
By the time I finished interviewing, I was overwhelmed by all the positive messages I had heard, and realized that in the end, the only thing stopping me from being optimistic was me. Before 1904, this part of New York was called Longacre Square. Then in 1904, the New York Times building was built right here, and it became the Times Square. Since 1907, the ball has been dropping from the top of this roof, signaling a new year, and perhaps new optimism for everyone. In a few days, there will be a million people in this area, celebrating 2017 and hoping for the very, very best. I hope the very best for you, too. Optimism is great.